Alfa, ẹ fi mílẹ̀. Mo wá ní kíní tí mò ń yọrí, ẹni mò ń yọrí bí aláǹgbá. Ṣé ẹ mọ̀ pé ẹ̀yin lẹ bẹ̀rẹ̀ wàhálà láàárọ̀ yìí? Mo ń yọrí bí aláǹgbá. Ẹ mọ̀ pé ìwàkuwà yín ti pọ̀ jù ni. Ìyẹn kàn déédéé jáde fòtì. Àjàjà àwọn ọlọ́kadà yẹn. Àwọn ọlọ́kadà Uber, àwọn ọlọ́kadà Lyft. Ẹ̀dẹ̀ ni mo yọrí bí orí aláǹgbá. Tí n bá tún sọ fún yín pé ẹgbẹ́rù lórí ń sìn ẹ sọ pé kíní. Ẹ tẹ̀ dúró náà fà. Ṣé ìran yín ìran Lárúbáwá ni yín ni àbí ìran Yorùbá? Àbí ìran Fúlàní? Èwo lẹ jẹ́ ń bẹ̀ gan? Aláǹtà ń bá yín sọ nìyẹn. Wọ́n fi ẹ̀sìn, wọ́n fi da ọpọlọ àwọn èèyàn rú. Ẹ̀dẹ̀ mọ̀. Ẹ̀yin lẹ fa ṣoṣo láàárọ̀ yẹn àfà o. Ẹ̀yin. Ẹ̀dẹ̀ mọ̀. Àfà ẹ mọ̀. Àbẹ́ ẹ mọ̀. Ẹ mọ̀ yìí pé irọ́ náà pa fún wa. Tí wọ́n ń torí tẹ́ ẹ fẹ́ jẹ tàbí tẹ́ ẹ fẹ́ jẹ́, ẹ wá gba nǹkan tẹ́ ẹ jẹ́. Ó lẹ̀ ń làágùn lábẹ́ AC. Ṣé ń làágùn lábẹ́ AC? Àánú yóò ṣe mí o. Àfà, I no pity you. Inú mi jẹ́ ẹ̀dùn sáà bá kan tó jáde lẹ́nu ọjọ́ mẹ́ta tó rọ́bìṣì gbogbo irọ́ tẹ̀ ń pa. Pásítọ̀ má gbé ẹnu ẹ sí láàárọ̀, má gbẹ́nu ẹ sí. Gbẹ́nu kò, má ganu sí mi láàárọ̀, pásítọ̀, má ganu sí mi, kó kí mi birthday. Àwọn kan wà tó ń wò mí lọ́wọ́ báyìí wọ́n sọ pé happy birthday. Kí mo ṣe fún yín? Ṣé ló pé mò ń sọ ọ̀tọ̀? Àfi bàbá Olúwo nìkan. Bóyá kò torí pé wọ́n ti já àgbàlagbà láàrin yín. Bàbá Olúwo ẹ kàn kí mi lásán. Ẹ fi nǹkan birthday ránṣẹ́ sí mi. Mo rí ṣé nǹkan birthday tó yẹ kẹ́ fi ránṣẹ́ sí mi nìyẹn. Ẹ jẹ́ fi àwọn èèyàn mi. Nǹkan tẹ́ fi ránṣẹ́ sí mi. Èbó òní. Ẹ jẹ́ kájọ dẹ́jọ́ yẹn. Bó ló tiẹ̀ wà. Mo tọ́jú ẹ̀dẹ̀ yìí ni. Bóun ni. Bí nǹkan tẹ́ fi ránṣẹ́ sí mi lélẹ́yìí. Èbó òní. Òun ni. Ẹni kí ló? Orógbó márùn-ún. Ẹ wá ń sọ fún mi pé ẹ ló nítumọ̀. Orógbó márùn-ún péré. Mo jẹ kan bẹ̀ lánàá. Òun ni. Àwọn èèyàn káwọn jowú bẹ́ẹ̀ wọ́n fẹ́ jẹ. Àfà. Àfà àmọ́ mọ̀ nǹkan tó máa ń forógbó ṣe. Àdódù ló máa ń forógbó ṣe ń tiẹ̀. Àdódù. Inú ẹ ò mọ́. Ó fàjẹ̀gbọ̀n rẹ̀ láàárọ̀ rẹ̀ àfà. Àdódù ló forógbó ṣe. Àfà àti ẹ̀ tó ń jáwé tó ń jégbò. Bàbá wo ẹjẹ́ ṣe wàásù fún kẹ́ pàrọwà fún. Ó jáwé lápọ̀ tí èèyàn. Gbogbo mi lákàánú. Àmúyẹ àwọn èèyàn náà ti mọ̀ sí nǹkan tó ń lọ. Ẹjọ́ bàbá wo. Mo rí kinní kan láàárọ̀ ìfà. Ẹ bàbá rẹ̀. Ẹ ṣe mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ yín. Pásítọ̀ kílẹ̀ wí. Ẹ mọ̀ sẹ́ndì báìbù sí mi. Èmi wá jẹ́ gẹ́gẹ́ bí ọmọ Tinubu tẹ́ sẹ́ndì báìbù sí. Ẹ mọ̀ sẹ́ndì báìbù sí mi. Èyí tí mo ní ti tó. Báìbù méjì mo ní síbí wà. Mo dẹ̀ ní sórí fóònù mi. Mo ní ìdí ẹ̀. Ẹ lọ kó bá gbin. Ẹ lọ tà á kẹ́ lọ fún oúnjẹ fún àwọn ọmọ aláìní. Ẹ ṣe àdúrà yín ni mo nílò, ẹ gbàdúrà mi. Ẹ gbàdúrà mi pé àwọn tó fọ́lù mi kíkú má pa wọn, kárùn má ṣe wọn. Gbogbo àwọn olólùfẹ́ bàbá àròpọ̀ lágbàáyé kán má dààmú. Ó tán. Kí máa lọ kí máa bọ̀ rí. Kẹ́lẹ̀ máa rówó ọkọ̀ san fèmí. Kí mọ́tò mi má bàjẹ́. Àdúrà yẹn ti tó yẹ bá ti dórí òkè ara láti ẹgbà. Bàbá, fẹ́ bèrè nǹkan lọ yín. Mo rí fọ́nrán kan ní alẹ́ àná. Bàbá kan dá ifá. Ó dùn mí bá dẹ̀ fi àwọn èèyàn mi o. bọ̀ mo yìí máa fi hàn ó dá ifá tó dá yẹn abẹ́ gbọ́ bàbá ifá tó dá yẹn ifá yẹn sọ pé àwọn Fúlàní wọ́n kó tírà wọ́n kó sínú màálù wọ́n lọ pa màálù wọ́n ṣáà lọ kó tírà yẹn jáde ṣá ó wá dá ifá lórí tírà yẹn ìgbàgbọ́ orúkọ tó kọlù fáyẹn pé gbogbo àwọn wọ́n fi ń bà nǹkan jẹ́ lára àwọn ọmọkùnrin ilẹ̀ Yorùbá ni nítorí lóòótọ́ lẹ́nu ọjọ́ mẹ́ta ẹ̀ àwọn fìjìláńtẹ́ àwọn Fúlàní dàbọn bò wọ́n pa wọ́n dànù ṣé kìí ṣàtẹnujẹ ló máa pa ìran Yorùbá dànù báyìí bàbá àní bàbá fọ́nrán kan tó wà ọmọkùnrin Fúlàní yẹn ó dẹ̀ fi ẹ̀yìn màálùú lélẹ̀ màálùú yẹn gan ó ti rẹ̀ nǹkan ọmọkùnrin ẹ̀ yíyọ jáde ó tún fi sí ìwàì mo ní ni mò ń ṣe o Ọlọ́run bá ń gbọ́ bàbá ni mò ń ṣe tó ń ra kì í máa ń ṣe kékeré nǹkan tí mò ń sọ yìí ọjọ́ kí n fi ránṣẹ́ sí ṣàgbàlagbà máa ń wò kúwò ní wò kúwò ní àwa ọmọ kékeré lálẹ́ wò yẹn bàbá ẹ̀ lè wò tẹ́ ẹ bá wò ẹ máa yọ àṣẹ jáde ẹ máa fi ṣẹ́ ìpè ẹ máa wò bàbá ó dangerous fẹ́ bọ̀dẹ̀ yín olólùfẹ́ mi tẹ́ ń tẹ̀lé mi tẹ́ bá ní ìdí ẹ̀ máa sẹ́ǹdì ẹ̀ sí ẹ̀sùn wàhálà máa sẹ́ǹdì ẹ̀ sí yín ọ̀fẹ́ ṣọ́ra má jẹ màálùú. Pastor mo rí news yẹn wọ́n ní àwọn tó ń fẹ́ dìtẹ̀ gbàjọba lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀gbọ́n mi wọ́n mọ̀ pé mò ń gbàdúrà fún ẹ̀gbọ́n mi lórí òkè mọ̀dánwò orí òkè tẹ̀sùmọ́lẹ̀ orí òkè ṣẹ̀gàndògo Pastor ẹ ṣé jàre orí òkè Araratì mélòó ni wọ́n really Pastor ẹ current ẹgbà àwọn mẹ́sàn-án àwọn mẹ́wàá wọ́n ní ọmọ Delta kan wà ńbẹ̀ àwọn tó kù Fúlàní náà gbogbo ẹ wo ìgbà ayé Jonathan kí ló dé tínú wa ò dùn sí nǹkan tó dáa kí ló dé. nǹkan tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ni pé báwo lèèyàn gba Jonathan bá ṣe gbógun ti ọmọkùnrin yẹn nìyẹn ẹ ṣe rálì ẹ jẹ́ kéèyàn ṣe rálì ẹ̀gbọ́n ẹ lọ ṣọ́ ara yín o àwa tá à ń gbàdúrà fún yín ní orí òkè mọ́ gbógun tì í orí òkè gbógun jẹ́ ẹ̀gbọ́n àwọn tó ń ṣe rálì ẹ fi wọ́n lẹ̀ jẹ́ kán ṣe rálì tí ìjọba kan bá wà tí ò bá sí àwọn tó máa takò wọ́n kì í ṣèjọba democracy la pè ẹ̀gbọ́n ìkejì ṣe mọ̀ pé mò ń wọ́ ọ̀nù yín láti bí ọjọ́ mélòó kan yín pé ẹ ṣe ń tẹ́ ẹ fẹ́ ṣe ọdún mẹ́rin kì í ṣe kékeré ẹ fi adjust gbogbo ẹ̀ devolution of power ẹ list sáwọn tó fẹ́ràn yín tẹ́ ẹ jọ ja ìjà nàdẹ́kò ẹ̀gbọ́n mi bàbá Olúwo thank you sir ó listing kí lẹ pé ó dùn fáyẹn Odufa Ogunda. Ẹ̀gbọ́n. Ẹ má ṣe mi ò mọ̀ yẹn láàárọ̀. Ṣùgbọ́n kán lísìn sí àgbákò bá.
Detail one, describing how Nigeria can get out of the conundrum, which I described tonight as a constitutional conundrum, because we say there's a problem with the constitution, but how do we exit it? What do we do with it? We've been repairing and repairing. We've done 5 alterations of that document since 1999 when we got into
For 25 years.
Into the Fourth Republic. But the question is the constitution our problem? If it is, how do we get rid of it? Can we exit it? What about the vacuum? Mr. Bakuba has seen it all. Constitutional amendment, framing of new constitution from 79 to date and all of that, the Republican constitution, a lot of things that have happened in this country. Mr. Bakuba, my question, which I laid premise to before we went on that break, is that what do we need? When you say that there is a structural problem, it lies in the fundamentals of what brings us together as a people, meaning that our constitution is lacking at the fortification to allow the state to function properly. Then the question, do we need a new constitution, or we can keep amending this one, or where do we go from here?
Yeah, well, I think history can help us answer the question you have posed. Remember that the late Oluwo once posed 2 important questions. The first question he put to us back then when he was alive was, what do we want to do? Are we prepared to be in one country called Nigeria? Oh, that was the first important critical question that he put on the table. He then put a second subsidiary question. If we
Ikú Bọ́lá Ìgè yẹn ó pẹ̀lú nǹkan tí ò jẹ́ kí n fẹ́ràn bàbá Elétí Gbàgàrà tó wà ní Ọ̀tà yìí. Ikú Bọ́lá Ìgè yẹn tó ní àmọ́ kankan pa ẹ̀ mọ́. Ẹ̀gbọ́n ṣe ó dà bẹ́ẹ̀. Ó dà.
Diverse people. Our president returned us to the national anthem, which I think people say suits us better than the Arise of Compatriots. Now, if you have diverse people, then you are looking for a political arrangement that will suit our diversity. That's where federalism comes in. So we agree that a federal system is suitable for Nigeria. The problem is, what type of federal system is suitable? There's several. In political language, we talk about centripetal and centrifugal. Centrifugal meaning a pyramid where everything is on top. Centripetal meaning that everyone has space. The late Chief M.K. Obiala once put it to me in a very, very simple way. He said, he's got 4 wives, and if all wives were centralized in his one big building, and they all have children, and the quarrel would be, what soup do we have for the day? It'll be what Nigerians call kata kata. But what he said made sense to me. If you put the wives in different arrangements around his big mansion, then whatever wife wants to make whatever soup or rice for whatever kid, there'll be no problem, because that is been devolved at another level, not his level. That, I think, is so apt for Nigeria. Nigeria is made up of 300 different ethnicities, several languages, but we have only one strong presidential system. Only one president with all the powers. That's the problem. The governors have no powers. They're not chief security officers. When Rotimi Amechi was governor of Anambra of River State, he wasn't even allowed into his government lodge because the police blocked him out. So the real question that we need to pose is, do we have a constitution that reflects our federalism? That's all. We don't. Do I trust the National Assembly to give us a constitution? Well, I have a problem with the National Assembly because they've taken 25 years in doing this and they have reached no solution. Am I more concerned with process? So some talk about referendum. I'm not. I'm interested in what Nigerians need. And if we can have the National Assembly produce a constitution which, if they show everybody, will all say, this is what we want, I'm all for it. But so, looking at the history of looking at, yes?
So I was going to categorize, right?
Yes.
Who are those that will draft it? How do we go about it? How do we come about and brand new constitution?
No, before we get to that, it is first to analyze who we are and where we want to go. That's where I was headed. Then we now come to the question you are asking. So I would then ask, should the National Assembly do it? Look, I would say, yeah, maybe, but they spent too much time, 25 years. Or do we have a national constitutional conference? Well, we've had a lot of them, and there's been no result. So you can see that neither of the national confab system or the National Assembly system has produced results. So I would say that the only person who can drive this agenda is the president. And remember that when they were campaigning, Peter Obi, Atiku, Bola Tinubu all made the issue of devolution a central and cardinal program of their agendas. But I don't hear anybody saying anything about it. President Tinubu has been in office long enough to have promulgated for us a new constitution in 6 months. So if the National Assembly hasn't done well, the national constitution conferences that has been called by OBJ, by IBB, by Ibn Abacha, by Jonathan, produced no results, then maybe let's ask the president, you are the chief executive officer of Nigeria, exercising executive power under Section 5 of the Constitution. Give us a constitution. Let's look at it. Let's absolutely look at it. You have the power to do that. After all, the president gave financial autonomy to the 774 local governments. He can drive a new constitutional process. So that's what I see that is new. The National Assembly has done it 25 years and has achieved nothing. 5, 6, 7 past national constitutional conferences have achieved nothing. So maybe the president should now intervene the way he even intervened and removed the Assembly's chiefs in what you call a bold move. So let the president...
You were prescribing, or you prescribed a 4-year term for this to happen. And you have said that 25 years, this National Assembly has struggled to make the Constitution work, but you call the Constitution an irredeemable document. You said it means that between 2027 and 2030, we should be able to produce a brand new Constitution. The key word here is that if President Bola Tinubu decides to activate what you are proposing, won't there be a political derailment or pushback on this?
Why should that be? If he has the interest of Nigerians at heart, why would that be? And he's not going to do it alone. There's a structure to which he has to report. There's the National Assembly, there's the civil society. We know what will be good when we see one. Everybody knows that the problem with Nigeria is that the constitutional arrangement makes the president... If President Tinubu were to produce a constitution that devolves real authority from the presidency down to the governors and down to the 774 local governments in a transparent way, I'm not sure he'll be opposed. But if he uses...
You know so well, and you know too well about the structure of this country. A Nigerian president is perhaps one of the most powerful persons on earth. The power the Constitution of Nigeria gives to a president of Nigeria is almost absolute. There is almost nothing that the president wants that he cannot get. I mean, compared to other world leaders, I'm not sure about from the buttons that the American president presses he has access to the nuclear weaponry. The Nigerian president just wields so much power. Do you think a sitting Nigerian president will have the political will and the audacity to say, I will whittle down my own power by bringing a new constitution? Do you think it's practical? Do you think it's possible?
Why not? Why not? Doesn't he want to win elections? If people are suffering and what he does by bringing the new constitution makes him popular, isn't that a gain for him? I would think so. If the president...
Bàbá mi Waziri Jinadu, how you dey? Ó mà tọ́jọ́ mẹ́ta ṣe wà. Ṣé ń jẹ ọbẹ̀ ẹ̀gúsí àti àmàlà? Bàbá Olúwo ní kí n kí yín bí o. Màmí mi Olúbùnmi tó ṣú ọ̀, èwo lẹ ṣe? Pásítọ̀ ní kí n kí yín o. Ó ní ká ẹ sẹ́ndì ìdámẹ́wàá sí mi. Gbájú ẹ̀ ní pásítọ̀ yẹn wọ́n dá lóhùn. Ní tèmi, mi ò ní dákẹ́. Kẹ́gbọ́n mi ojú tó yọbọ́ tí ò fọ́ kó jí dúdú dì níṣu. Devolution pa. Wá gbá yìí ká. Ẹ̀gbọ́n wá gbá yìí tó pọ̀. Gbogbo àgbáyé ni ò ní gbàgbé ẹ. Orúkọ rere sàn ju wúrà tipa. Ẹ bá mi pín ètò yẹn, máa like ẹ kọ́mẹ̀ǹtì. Ẹ má rí ilé ìjọ àbáròbọ rẹ ṣe náà. Sódà táwa èèyàn á lè gbọ́. Ìwé kan wà tí àwa àti Dr. Aliu máa gbé jáde. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni bàbá Waziri Jinadu, mo gbé fún yín jàre, kò ní bàjẹ́ o. Ìwé yẹn ní agbára. Ọ̀tọ̀ Ọlọ́run á ràn wá lọ́wọ́ torí a ò fẹ́ tọrọ owó. Ìwọ tó bá ní oore ọ̀fẹ́, a kàn nídìí 500k láti fi ṣe ojú ẹ̀ jáde because eléyìí tá a ti ṣe ó pẹ̀lú tó jí àwọn Haúsá báyìí. Ẹnikẹ́ni tọ́lọ́run bá fún lórí ọ̀fẹ́ ìjọ ẹ̀ kan sí mi. Tẹ̀dẹ̀ fẹ́ jẹ́ ká fún yín ní ẹ̀dẹ̀ ní kọ́pì tí ń bẹ̀. So ìrànlọ́wọ́ tá à ń fẹ́ nìyẹn. Ẹ ṣé mo dúpẹ́. Ẹ ṣé mo dúpẹ́. Ẹjọ́ ẹ jẹ́ aṣọ́ra wa, àwọn màlúù tán bá sùn tá à ń jẹ yìí. Àwọn wèrè tán kóra wọn jọ tán pera wọn ní olóṣèlú kìnìkan. Àwọn ọba Nàìjíríà yẹn jẹ́. Ìkan di Fáyọ̀ṣe kó lẹ́nu ọ̀rọ̀ kí irú dínú mi láàyè àwọn kìnìyàn. So ká ẹ̀gbọ́n ṣe nǹkan tó yẹ kẹ́ ẹ ṣe, ẹ gbà yìí káàkiri gbogbo ayé, ẹ gbà yìí, ẹ gbà yìí o. Ó dàbọ̀ sàtà ọmọ. Mo fẹ́ já bàbá Olúwo lẹ̀ báyìí. Ọdún yìí ó máa sọ̀dọ̀. Mo máa padà wá sáà o. Tó bá ní ẹwà mi ò ní wọ ọjọ́ tó bá fún ìṣàpàtà ọjọ́.